One of my favorite writers of all time for his simplicity and the power of his ideas is Seth Godin. He's a marketing genius. He's just come up with a new book called This Is Marketing, which is a great book for people who want to become marketeers or are already one. And in there was this section which he wrote about, and that resonated a lot with my worldview. And I've always felt the same way as he described it, but of course he described it in a manner that was far better than I ever could. So he starts with this example that 12% of the 21,000 odd people that have reviewed the book Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone on Amazon rated that book as 1 or 2. 12%. Which means out of 100 people who read that book, 12 people felt that Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, which is one of the world's best-selling books of all time, was perhaps the worst book that they'd ever read. And that's the view that they had. Whenever you make something, whenever there's a product that you ship, whenever there's a relationship you indulge in, whenever there's a reaction you generate, there'll always be two kinds of people. One who endorses your point of view, one whose worldview resonates with you, and one who sees the way you do, and thus is aligned with what you've built. And then there is this accidental audience, as Seth Godin calls it. And the accidental audience just accidentally happens to chance upon your work. And they're not hesitant in sharing that they didn't like the work at all, because to begin with, they were not meant to land at your work. They never felt strongly for that. And both these audiences, both the good and the bad, are right in their own setup. They are completely right in how they're feeling, but what Seth Godin says is that despite being right, they're rarely helpful. Because all that they've done is just told you that I love your work or I hate your work. And that's largely because the question that we ask them is precisely the same. Did you like my work? We seek feedback from people, but that feedback is very specific of 0 or 1. Did you like what I've built? Did you like how I behaved? Did you like what I've shipped? And then you will have people who say I love it and have people who say that I hate it. Instead, if you were to ask a completely different question, which is, I built something that I like, and I thought that you might like it too. How did I do? How did I do? Because when you start with this question, it's very rare that you will find someone saying, I love it or I hate it, and just stop at that. They will share more. They will go out of their way to truly express the emotions that they felt when they navigated or just dealt with your product or whatever is it that you've built. And this open-ended question, which is seeking advice rather than seeking feedback, is a very powerful way of just treating whatever is it that you've built. I have a great example for that. And I'm sharing this at the liberty of not asking for his permission. Kunal Shah, one of India's most renowned angel investors and serial entrepreneurs, has started his new venture called Cred. And this is not an endorsement, but when Cred released and I went through the product, I just sent him a message saying, hey, all the best with this. I wish you all the best. And he returned the message by saying, thank you, Ankur. Do you have any feedback for me? And that's such a powerful question, because he could have very well asked me, did you like the product? And I would have again said, I like it or I hate it. But when he says, do you have any feedback for me? I am almost pulled into the setup where I have to respond with what I felt, my emotions, my reactions, and everything that came with it. And that is such a wonderful way of asking, how did I do? So this episode of Warikoo Wednesday, Season 18, Season 2, Episode 18, is about you not boxing the reactions that you wish to gather, not asking people whether you like it or hate it, not asking people for feedback, which is, did you like my work? Instead, ask for advice. What could I do different? What can I do to make this work exactly for you? How did I do? Until next week, I'll see you all.